Just felt it was a perfect opportunity to speak to one of the most well-known and eloquent pastors in the United States and influential, John Hagee. I would just like to answer, if I may. I feel silly here, Pastor, if I asked you a question, and I'm going to offer my own thoughts on it, because I asked you when you made reference to the Bible. This is the first generation in American history that finds it odd for people in public life to make references to the Bible. See, that's what's so interesting. What I call the secular brainwash of high school and universities has been so effective that when people hear a biblical citation, they are trained to close their ears, that there must be something irrational or about the person citing it or unintellectual. That's what they've been taught, as if secularism has produced this brilliance at universities, which is the opposite. It's produced mostly nonsense in terms of wisdom. And yet, I know how people react. Oh, man who cites the Bible. And that's the way they've been trained to think. But Franklin Roosevelt would cite the Bible. Harry Truman cited the Bible. It ended in the 60s that people didn't. And obviously, most people listening were, born after that period or raised then. All right, let's go to some of your calls, and feel free to ask or say whatever you like. Yorba Linda, California. And Marcus, you're on with Dennis Prager and Pastor John Hagee.
Well, good afternoon. Good morning, Mr. Prager and John Hagee.
Oh, 1 minute. What? Yeah, go on, yeah.
I wanted to say to Pastor Hagee how much of a deep respect I have. I served in the Air Force at Lackland Air Force Base back in 1979. I just wanted to relate something. My father was police chief of Buena Park, where Knott's Berry Farm was, and he was from Oklahoma. He was American Indian and Irish. And in 1968, we went down to see my grandparents who moved from Oklahoma to Laguna Beach, California. I was in the 8th grade in the back of his unmarked police car. There were thousands of hippies in the streets because Laguna Beach had become the distribution point for LSD. It's where Timothy Leary used to extol his madness. And we were driving downtown, and thousands of these people got around our car, started screaming, yelling, spitting on our car. And my mom said to my dad, she said, "We need to get out of here. We need to get out of here now." My dad had his .357 mag out on the seat, but he stopped the car and he said, "Marcus, I want you to take a look at this." He said, "I want you to look at all this going on. I want you to look at these people urinating in the street, puking, acting like the scum of the earth." And he said, "I won't live to see this." But he said, "You will see the moral turpitude, the destruction and annihilation of this country because of what this generation has brought." And I'm in investments. I was a former Air Force officer. I go out and tutor kids, and I'm telling you, I'm here in the Southern California area. What I have watched happen to this country in just the last 10 years is absolutely incomprehensible.
Okay, Pastor.
I agree that we are not slipping. We are in a moral freefall. The transition in this country is happening so quickly, so dramatically, that things are now happening in this country that 10 years ago you would have sworn were absolutely impossible. Just the other day in Washington, D.C., at the Lincoln Memorial, a group of high school students called the Young Americans were so moved by the thoughts of Lincoln, his contributions to the nation, that they spontaneously began to sing the national anthem. And the park police charged up and said, "You must stop singing immediately. This would be a violation of federal law and considered a civil disturbance if you continue singing the national anthem." And they stopped singing the national anthem at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., the capital of freedom. Think about that for just a minute.